Steve Weiner here from GetRubix.com, and today we're going to start something new. It's going to be like a podcast series of episodes where we're joined by different architects and engineers that I work with on a daily basis. Today we're going to get things kicked off, and we're going to be joined by Dustin Gullett, who is a master at modern Windows management, everything from Intune to co-management and Autopilot. And what we're going to be talking about today is Windows 365. Stay tuned.
One, two, three, four.
Just gonna give this a shot. So let me bring you in here.
Yeah. So I am Dustin Gullett, and I do Windows 365. I do Intune. I do Defender. All of those fun things. Microsoft Stack.
You do everything.
Yeah. I guess SCCM's on there as well. I forgot SCCM. That's sort of a thing as well. Still, so co-management, all that fun stuff.
We like to forget about SCCM. So I guess the big thing is like Windows 365. I call it. So I did a few videos on it and talked about how easy it is to set up and like different stuff you could do with it. And I call it like the best kept secret because I feel like people don't know it. But like that's kind of what I want to talk about. Like people who want VDI and AVD. Like why should people be looking at Windows 365?
Really, you sort of if you're going AVD, you're going to have to look at augmenting an FTE, a full-time employee, to manage those pools. I'm actually, as of this morning, I'm in a chat where users are complaining about the pools. They're looking at restarting the pools and all of that. With Windows 365, you don't really have that. It is a full-time job to manage AVDs. It is a great technology, but you do have to augment that staff.
Yeah, like I was explaining when I set it up in my video. Like, I do this a lot where I have no business doing something and I do it, but like I have no VDI experience. I don't know about pools and clusters and all that, but like within 20 minutes, I could give someone a cloud PC. Like,
Yeah.
right? Like, I guess it's the simplicity of it.
Yeah, I think the hardest part in quotes is setting up an option for you. Like, a lot of people don't think about that is you can provision these from a VNet in Azure, so you get that corporate IP, so you don't have to have VPN. You can access all your corporate resources. And yeah, you're right. It doesn't take much to do it. There's the group creations and things like that, but
Yeah,
that's usually the longest part, is creating that Azure network connection, but that's not even too terribly difficult.
because I kind of sum it up as like, you buy a license, get a PC. Buy a license, get a PC. Like, just keep, like,
Yep.
and it's like, I guess if you never log into it, like, let's say you pick the one that's like $28 a month. If you never log into it, it's $28 a month. If you use it 24/7, it's $28 a month.
Right.
Like,
Yeah. And a lot of people I don't think about this, but you can mix and match those too. If you sit with the $28 a month, you don't have to have that for your entire organization. You could say, I want a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B, a little bit of column C. I'm working with someone right now who, they have very large ones for their developers. And then, Bob and the help desk has the small one. They're mix and match. They do mix and match the Frontline and Enterprise as well. So,
the Frontline kind of solves for the shared PC. That's like been the objection with Windows 365. Well, this is good for one-on-one, but what if you have a shared PC? Can you talk about the Frontline's newer, right?
Yeah, it's newer. I have a lot of global customers that are going that route because, obviously, the people across the pond are not awake when we're awake, and vice versa. So you can buy a Frontline license, and that's shared, and one license gets you 3 VMs and then one concurrent connection. So in my test tenant, I have 25 Frontline licenses, so that gives me the ability to provision 75 cloud PCs, but I can only have 25 concurrent connections. That 26 user would just get we're out of resources, check with your administrator message.
So like for
but of
different
course there's
shifts,
reports around that.
like,
Yeah, for different shifts.
okay.
So if you have the morning shift and the evening shift, you could just buy one license. It's slightly more expensive than the standard enterprise one, but I think you're really getting 3 for the price of 1.
Well, you're saving money because instead you would have to buy as many PCs as you
Right,
have
right.
the users, so that makes sense. And like I tell people, like it sits in Intune. It's part of Intune. Is where the product is. Like so,
Yeah.
and people talk about like how to. I mean, that's like a no-brainer. Like I've been telling people, you just manage it along with your Autopilot and other Intune PCs, right? I mean, there's no difference.
Yeah, you know, I usually create a dynamic group just for my cloud PCs. I do have groups for based off the licensing as well, but yeah, I mean it's another endpoint. So if you package, you know, Notepad++, that same package that they're using on your physical desktop, you can use on your cloud PC as well. And really, you know, going back to the AVD thing, with multi-session AVDs, you don't get a one-to-one experience. If a user was to have a cloud PC and an autopiloted Intune managed laptop, that there's a one-to-one experience. That Windows 365 looks just like their physical PC, but if you go to the AVD route, there's limitations in AVD, such as like company portal. You can't install ad hoc applications from the company portal using a multi-session AVD where you can with the Windows 365. So
I mean, so that's a good point. Like, because if you want to do the apps and the AVDs, you got to know about like the pools and like, or you got to know about like adding the app to the image, I guess, or put it in that pool. See, I'm already confused. Like,
yeah, there's a lot of options, but I mean, really, you push the app to an entire device, and so really, like, need it or not, like you're getting it because there is no ad hoc. I want to go to the company portal and install Notepad++. You don't have that with the multi-session AVD.
Gotcha. And if I make like, that's a good point. Like, let's say like one of the Adobe apps, if it's packaged and Bob can use it, if it's available to Bob can use it on his physical PC and it'll be made available to him in his cloud PC as well.
Right.
So it's
and
like,
it's the same set of instructions that you're giving to Bob. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
because you don't want us to be like, hey, Bob, oh, you're on an AVD, so this is what you got to do for AVD, but you're on a physical PC today, this is what you do. It gets confusing for Bob.
Do you think we're looking at like, because I think the writing's on the wall. I mean, I'm a little messed up sometimes, but like to me, it's like this is such a no-brainer. It's just because not enough people know yet, and it's like, folks. I always say folks who tie themselves to a technology, like that's not a good career move. To be like, oh, I'm the VDI guy, or like yourself, you were the SCCM guy, and now you're not really the SCCM guy. You didn't die with SCCM, right, as it's going down. Not that it's dead yet, but like, so like VDI guys will say to me like, well, yeah, Windows 365 is only good for people who don't have a lot of time or money to spend.
Yeah.
That's like,
yeah, I don't agree with that, man. Cause like, you know, and not to uproot that full-time employee for the AVD.
yeah.
Because with IT, you're always just going to get some other duty as assigned, you know, but yeah, it's really just there. And like to your point, no one really, a lot of people don't know that Windows 365 tab is even there because it doesn't turn on until you have a license in your tenant. Yeah. And so when I point that out to a lot of my customers, they're sort of like, what's that? Because it's not really advertised, I guess, as much as the AVD is.
Yeah, it's really not, or I don't think it's clear. I mean, I think the name could be a little, not that it sucks, but it's like, well, what's Windows 3? Like you're taking Office 365 and then you're taking Windows, and then people are confused, and then Microsoft calls it Microsoft 365. So I think people are just generally
everything
confused.
With those names 365 it is, and that's why I always try to say cloud PC on the end of it. I try to bring my head around it, but Windows 365 cloud PC. If you're ever Googling anything, throw in Windows 365, because even Googling Windows 365, you're going to get M365 results. And so that's been my experience.
Gotcha. Oh, yeah, I mean, half this stuff is, just Googling it is confusing. So, no, I mean, that's cool. I mean, I think the thing is, and again, I was able to make this quick video about it, and I mean, I've done it, but I'm not an expert, and it's just so easy to do. It's like, is there a downside to it? Is it? I mean, I don't see any.
No, I think, you know, just being able, I have a customer that needs to, they're on the West Coast. They need to beat shipping times, things like that. And so, you know, and even like if a PC were to die,
Mhm.
like how long does it take you to ship that customer or that user a new PC? Is that, yeah, you could probably overnight it, but they're still, they're not able to function. But if you had a pool of cloud PC licenses, hey Bob, here you go, here's your license until we get your physical PC to you, and then when we get it that it arrived and you autopiloted it, we're going to take away that license from you, and it deprovisions that PC for you.
I mean, he's really got the same policy, same apps. He's got OneDrive, so his stuff's there.
Mhm.
So I mean, yeah, I also think like you brought up a good point. I mean, what if you eventually get to an org and they're just like, you know, feel free to bring your own device and just log into a Windows 360.
Right.
I mean, does this kind of enables that?
Well, the first large customer that I did was during when we had all the shipping
Oh
backups
yeah,
and all that
the
right after
pandemic.
COVID,
Yeah.
and they really couldn't get laptops. Like they wanted laptops, they had the budget for laptops, but they could not get their users laptops. But all their users already had iPads with Bluetooth keyboards. So what they did is they bought enough licenses for all of their users, and their users even still, like I checked on them a few months ago, they're still using those iPads to access their cloud PCs, and they're Intune managed and policies, all that fun stuff is there.
So it makes like an iPad useful. No, it's to knock on.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's a good
Well, I
point,
mean,
right?
yeah,
Like, yeah, yeah.
or your thin clients. I have another customer that, you know, has a call center. They're gonna have at that call center, they're not gonna have like an IT staff really. They just have a closet full of thin clients. So worst case, that thin client just breaks. They go to the closet, get a thin client out, plug it in, and they access their same cloud PC.
That's like killer, and I think and it's the simplicity of that. So like people here, there's simplicity on the back end and on the front end, and I think
Right.
this gets both. Like our migration solution, the new one we've been talking about on here, is like it's simplicity on the user end. On the back end, there's quite a bit of work. I mean, it's not that it's complicated, but is it complex? Maybe. But I think this is one of those rare occurrences where it's like it's simple to the admin, it's simple to the end user. It's like that's what you're paying for. You're paying for the service. Like
Right.
just log into your PC.
Yeah, I mean it's the whole AVD thing. I mean, nothing against those, but it's, you know, you got that management time of your pools
The
and
overhead.
resources and all that. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Yeah, that probably covers it. I wanted to get your take since you do it so much, and I've been getting questions about it, and since I showed it, and people are like, I mean, it just seems too simple. Like it kind of is.
It
Um,
is. Well, I have a bad habit. If it's too simple, I feel like I'm missing something. It's like something here should be a challenge. And the first time I did it, like going back to that customer that had the iPads, I was like, it's actually working. Like, I mean, it was weird. I was like, okay, that's it. And, you know, and I have a bad habit of like, okay, this was too easy.
yeah.
I missed a check mark box somewhere.
We're kind of conditioned that way from Microsoft, I think, so we can blame them for that.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I mean, that kind of covers that. We'll definitely have you stop by again in this. I think you're the first person we had down here in a long time,
right.
so we'll bring you back for something else. But you know, be good, man.
All right.
Thanks.
Have a good one.
1, 2,
There we go. First podcast in the books. If there's a topic you want to see me discuss, I'll bring someone on. We'll talk about it. Maybe in the future, I'll open it up to people I don't work with every day. But, you know, let me know if you like this.